So, Sean from Moshville Times, I'm here at Bloodstock 2024 with the guys from Disposable. How you doing?
Very well, yeah, really good, thanks.
Yeah, so I came in and saw your set earlier, and there was that little bit of a hiccup, but you've recovered well. So how are you feeling about your set after that?
It went really good, to be honest. Slightly thrown off by the power cut.
Yeah.
But what can you do in that situation? You just wait for it to come back, and then we just jumped straight back in. So.
You made it work, and the rest of us in the crowd, kept it going as best we could. So
I'll be honest, I was most concerned about just making noise out of my guitar. Yeah. And then we played a song, and I was like, this is going to be fine. And then the power cut happened, and it was like, well, whatever then. You know what I mean? It's like, well, this isn't in my control. None of it's my fault. Yeah, as long as nothing breaks, and if it does break, it's not my fault. Don't care. So it's fine.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I suppose it all worked out in the end anyway. You didn't get to lose any time. You still got to do your full set, and you only ran over by 5 minutes, which in the grand scheme of things is not really that big a deal.
Was it actually 5 minutes, or was it? I think we timed it as 10.
Somewhere in between 5 and 10.
5 and 10, yeah.
Let's stop talking about the technical issues.
Yeah. A little something like that, but so let's move on from all of that. So your last record was a Self-Dismantling Process EP, which I thought was very good. What has been the reception to that since it came out last year?
Pretty class in general, yeah. We did a whole trilogy of very over-the-top puppet videos for it.
Yes.
Everyone liked that. And then we were like, that was way too much fucking effort, so we're never doing something like that again. We're going to make the most simple album of all time.
Right. Well, I suppose it was worth it, I would say, with the puppets. So where did the idea for the puppets come from?
I think it's just like we see ourselves as a bunch of Muppets, really. We're all kind of like fans of the Muppets and puppetry also, in general.
Fucking Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. That kind of like happy little puppets in a horrible situation kind of vibe. We're like, that's pretty cool.
That was the origin of the story, of the kind of vibe. But I mean, we're all of us really, we're just massive Jim Henson fans. Like Muppet Treasure Island is one of the best films of all time. Muppet Christmas Carol is just the only Christmas movie that matters. So I think we were like, we had an idea. We did actually originally have an idea to do it for, I think, maybe Graves off of the last album.
Yeah.
We never ended up doing any music videos for that album. So then I think when we came to, shall we do a music video with puppets? Then it was like, should we do 2? It's like, let's do 3. Let's make it a trilogy. Let's go all in. It seems dumb to kind of go into the effort of making all these puppets, learning how to puppeteer, and then just doing it for one music video. So yeah, we did 3, and it was great. It was
so did you guys control your own puppets in those videos?
It's the entire thing. The entire thing is DIY. Nice. Like, so much effort went into. Like, more effort went into that than maybe anything we've ever done involved with music.
For recording the EP as well.
It was like, it just started off as a little idea, and then it was like, fuck, this is going to take a lot of effort. But every time you see a puppet move, it's us lying on the floor of our studio space, just sweating and like with a sore arm. It was good. Like, we just stopped being a band and became puppeteers for about a year.
It was like such an all-consuming project for ages. It was worth it though. It was good. I mean, what else are you gonna do? I think, to be honest, lockdown was maybe an element where we're like, well, we can't really make music, we can't really gig, should we just become puppeteers instead?
Right, so after Bloodstock, I believe one of your next gigs is you're playing that wee Fleshtival at the Fringe. So how did that kind of happen? Because I didn't know that the Fringe was kind of getting metal. How did that come about?
So basically, it's not that the Fringe is getting metal. The venue label basically decided, fuck the Fringe. They were kind of like, we're doing this every year and we're not making much more than our regular nights, so we're just going to do our own thing, which is kind of cool. And it's ended up with, like, the entirety of August in Edinburgh, there are no metal gigs, everyone's gasping on it, and then it's like, you want to come to the only metal gig this month, so it's a pretty no-brainer.
Awesome. I've noticed as well for a lot of your gigs that you have done in kind of recent past and gigs that you've got coming up, a lot of very local gigs you're playing mostly around Scotland from what I've seen. So is it really kind of, obviously you want to play in your home country, but is it quite important for you to kind of support the rest of the scene in that kind of way as well? I notice there's a lot of other local bands that are playing with you.
Yeah, I think, like, as well, there's a lot of new bands popping up in Scotland, and there's like kind of a buzz around the kind of thrashy, deathy stuff going on at the moment. So it's kind of, there's just loads of cool gigs happening. There's loads of young thrash bands popping up, and just kind of want to get on bills with them and play that kind of stuff. Yeah.
I mean, we play a lot of gigs and don't travel that far, which is like, but I mean, there's a variety of reasons behind that, but we just get offered like loads of good gigs at home, and we're kind of like suckers for them, really. So we don't say no to them. So that it's not something that we think about too much, really.
I think every time we try and make a conscious effort to play further afield and be a bit more brutal locally, everything we get offered locally ends up being really good. So then you're like, are we really going to say no to that? I think we maybe tried it for like half a year and we ended up just doing nothing. You know what I mean? Like, well, we didn't do any gigs at all, so we might as well just play some gigs. They're going to be good anyway, doesn't matter where they are.
So no particular plans to play further afield, but should the opportunity arise or should it suit you, the circumstances or whatever, then it's not going to be a no.
I wouldn't say there's no plans. We've kind of like had an interesting year in terms of like the layout of the band in general, which is why we've kind of been home birds for like most of this year, really. There's like just a variety of busy work, interpersonal related plans that have got in the way of organising a kind of bigger tour. I mean, we've toured around the UK numerous times. We've played in Europe and stuff. So it's not like we don't want to do that or we don't do that. It's just kind of there's been a few things this year that's just kind of held us back from doing that kind of thing. Really, just I mean, we had plans to go to Europe in October, and it kind of fell through a little bit. So like we filled in the gap that left with more stuff that. You know, but it kind of comes across like we've just played Edinburgh 10 times this year, but like all the plans were there and like they just didn't come together this time, really, which is just like a band of our size. Like sometimes the plans just don't come together. Like I think
as well, with everything kind of not coming together, we've just sort of started focusing on our next record, and the idea being that once that's out, we'll probably push that quite extensively and try and get quite far with that.
Okay, amazing. Well, that leads quite nicely on to, I was going to ask about the new record, because she's debuted and well, I don't know if you debuted, but you played a new song today at Bloodstock and it was a banger. So is there any details about the new record you can give us? Is there a wee bit under wraps the new?
Not really. We're probably right on the cusp of leaking loads of stuff about it. It's been under wraps until kind of now. We're at a point where it's getting mixed at this point. It's called It's Blood That Trickles Down, which is kind of like, I guess, a play on the sort of trickle-down economics thing. It's much more raw, short songs, crossover-y, angry, political kind of stuff, which is not unusual for bands like us, but maybe unusual for us, because we've kind of had a bit more of a developed sound, or like lyrically more ambiguous, or
we've been ambitious musically. Not to say that we're not doing that now, but you know, I think especially with the last EP, we were really pushing ourselves instrumentally, and I think this time we're kind of just pulling it back. Maybe simplifying it. Maybe simplifying is a bad term. It's something that we've wanted to do for ages. Basically, we wanted to. I think we were kicking around ideas for, well, what is the next project that we're going to be. We've had this idea to do like a really abrasive, kind of crusty, like kind of hardcore crossover album for ages. Yeah. Everything else that we kind of had in mind, we weren't that excited about. That was the only thing that was really getting us excited. So it made sense to just put all our eggs in that basket and for that to be just the official next album.
Yeah, fair enough. I think that would be good, because I feel like the last record was like quite a step up in technicality, so I think it's quite a nice contrast. Just like, we're just gonna make some punky noise, it's gonna be real in your face,
kind of
and you're gonna bang.
It's kind of is as simple as that. Like if you think there's a song on the last EP called Cut the Rope, which is just like loads of weird time signatures all over the place, really kind of bouncy and groovy and technical. The riffs are really like spidery on the fingers almost. It's fucking hard stuff to play, and it's really cool, but at the same time it's like we like being energetic on stage, and we're playing that song, and everyone has to stand in the one spot to concentrate on playing it. So it was like making a conscious effort to make
all the
it
heads going a different
raw
way, trying to bang to the beat.
as fuck. And like
Whatever
all of us leaving at the end of this year, so we're going to be a 3-piece for the next little while after that.
Okay.
So all these songs are kind of much more appropriate to be played as a 3-piece, because a lot of our older stuff really requires 2 guitars, lots of harmonies, lots of stuff like that. So in terms of moving forward, it's also going to be efficient for us to, because we're going to lose all of it, but then we'll have all this material stacked up that is much simpler that we can play as a 3-piece, instead of immediately being like, oh shit, we've got to get someone in and teach them all the hard stuff and stuff like that. So we should be able to just power on at that point with the new stuff. So there's a variety of factors involved with
and
why
it'll be
we've
good
done
as
it.
well when you're getting shows like this, for example. If you've only got a half-hour set, you can probably cram more in as well.
Yeah, I mean that song that we debuted today, Bin Kicker, which is just like a stupid little 1-minute song. Like you often find that that's the one that goes down the best. Because it is just a minute and it's fast as fuck, and then it's over. And everyone's like, oh man, I'm used to hearing these guys play like 4, 5, 6 minutes, sort of like developed kind of stuff. So in the context of a larger set, all that stuff's going to slot in nicely, and not a novelty, but like, you know, a lot of the songs are a minute long on the new album.
I mean, there's 15 tracks on the new album, and it comes in like under 20 minutes. It's just lots of fucking nutty little grindy tunes.
A wee bit kind of grindy, kind of.
It's like you could play that all and still have time left over in a set like today, you know? It's cool.
Well, not with the power cut, but
And then you never know, after playing all those songs and then you've got one song left, you might be like, right, okay, let's play Cut the Rope now. We've done all the easy ones.
that would be cool, actually. I'm looking at you saying we should do that. He's leaving. We should do that.
Is this your last chance to play all the hard stuff?
Get it in before. In fact, I don't actually care what you do. I don't need to care anymore.
Okay, so we'll wrap up a little bit now. So a wee while ago, you've done a benefit show for Gaza. I just wanted to ask: is it quite important for the band to support kind of charitable causes and stuff?
Traditionally, in the past, we've always kind of had our I suppose you've basically yes.
Yeah.
I think it comes down to we've always been that kind of community spirited kind of band.
Yeah.
It's going back to the thing you're saying, we play a lot at home.
Yeah.
And a big part of that is just because we're friends with everybody that's there, and we as much as we want to progress as a band, we like that. You know, we like playing with our friends or younger bands that look up to us.
Yeah.
We take active enjoyment in that and being a part of that scene. And I think that mentality just goes a bit wider as well with stuff. And also we're just trying to be a bit more open about who we are, really, and what we think about things, because we've spent many years being that kind of, as I say, ambiguous, introspective kind of band, and the upcoming music is pointing the finger at things we don't like, and we're just trying to be more like that as people, and not be afraid to say the things that we actually think. So playing shows that benefit things we care about is probably quite an important thing to us. It always has been, but I think nowadays at least you should be making more of an effort to stand up for the things you believe in an active kind of way, instead of just thinking about it in your head, I guess. So which is a hard thing to do as a band, because we played that gig and we got a few messages from people saying that disagreeing with the cause and all that, people we know that like the band. So it does occasionally spark a little conversation. But conversation is good, and I think the more we're open about how we think, the more of those conversations you have. And it's an important thing, I guess. And we're trying not to be scared of doing that, I suppose.
But I wouldn't say that we're not aggressive with it. Do you know what I mean? It's more just here's what we think. This is what's important to us. But I don't think we're throwing it in people's faces. Do you know what I mean? I don't think we are, anyway. Do you think we are?
Definitely not. Some people may think so, but
that's on them.
Who cares?
The fact that we maybe have an opinion is maybe just enough to be like, oh, I'm cross at you now. It's all right. Sorry.
It's cool.
Thanks.
But on that note, thank you guys for your
Thank you very
time
much,
and
man.
for an amazing set today, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your time at Bloodstock.
Thank you. Cheers for
You too,
coming.
man.
Amazing. Cheers.